not for the faint of heart. Well, Mark News sat down with Tim Ferriss recently in San Francisco at the XTech conference. The event explores the burgeoning startup scene revolving around neuroscience. Now, Mark began by asking Tim how he sees technology shaping the mind.
I think that we're kind of on the verge of getting a little closer to Limitless, the benefits of the movie Limitless, without the downside of NZT, hopefully. But it's a very, very exciting field. I think that in some respects, people view kind of brain performance as the last frontier that tech hasn't been able to address very well. So I'm optimistic, and things like virtual reality make me extremely excited, not only for the entertainment. Part of the reason it makes me excited is because people are prone to dismissing the entertainment aspects and applications of VR, but that's what's going to finance everything else. It's kind of like you have a bar and then a restaurant. The restaurant loses tons of money, or it has really thin margins. The bar pays for everything else.
You've been an advisor or investor in tech companies like Facebook, Uber, Evernote, Twitter, TaskRabbit. But you said you're taking a break now. Why is that? I'm
taking a break from investing because things have gotten really frothy in the last year, and that means, to me at least, that I'm seeing some great companies, but as an individual angel investor, someone who is not a venture capitalist with a firm with associates and analysts and so on, it's become very noisy. And for me, I'm seeing more and more founders who are just price shopping. They're looking for the highest valuation possible with the loosest terms possible. And in that game, I don't have a competitive advantage. So I'm going to wait until there's blood in the streets, and then I'll start investing again.
But have you monitored the situation in China?
Oh, I think China is fascinating. I mean, it's in part, it's fascinating simply because the population is so large, right? For the same reason that China produces some just freakishly impressive athletes, you have such a pool of talent to draw from that, there are probably 50 Elon Musk type characters undiscovered, at least, in China right now. And so that's very exciting to me.
Tim, I first heard of you several years ago when I visited a startup in Kansas City, where in a house, several hackers were actually following your strict regimen and losing 20, 30, 40 pounds.
We're trying to be the best human beings we can.
So this is like body by hacker, right?
Exactly. Body by hacker.
Is that what the Tim Ferriss effect or impact is all about?
I suppose in a way it is. I mean, it's about connecting disparate worlds that usually wouldn't bounce into one another. So I think that if you look at the common thread through everything that I've done, it's about trying the uncommon.
Somehow you've recently been coined the Oprah of audio. Did you come up with that, or did somebody come up with that?
No, that was, I think that was a friend of mine who interviewed me in LA who first said that. But what's exciting about audio as opposed to, say, visual, whether it's text or video, is that it can be a secondary activity. So the vast majority of people who listen to my podcast every week do it while they're commuting, while they're cooking, while they're walking the dog, exercising. And as such, in a culture where people feel time-starved and digitally overwhelmed, it's the one foot that's easy to get in the door.
With the influence of your podcast and your books, do you ever worry about the advice that you give? Because you're an experimenter, but yet you could experiment and people could do things that possibly
they shouldn't do. Or that were unsafe. Absolutely, it's a huge responsibility. That does certainly impact what I put out there. And there are many things that I veto, that I won't put out. Tons of experiments I've done that no one's ever heard about. And there are cases where I'll put something out and I'll retract it. So there was a piece that I did, for instance, in the 4 Hour Body on breath holding, where I learned how to hold my breath with David Blaine, who held his breath for, I think, 17 minutes at one point to break a world record. And it's a balancing act, and the reason I took it out was that no matter how many caveats, how many bold, all caps warnings I have, you just have to assume 1 out of 1,000 people is not going to read the directions.
Through all your research and experiments on the human mind and body, what has surprised you most about human performance?
What's most surprised me, honestly, are the old things. I love new tech. I mean, my whole house is full of gadgets, but we sometimes are so focused on the future and looking ahead that we miss the tools that are right in front of us. So I've been doing a lot of experimentation with different types of meditation and mindfulness and fasting. So I've seen people with horrible tendon dysfunction or actual tears heal after a 14-day fast, water fast. And for that type of thing, you should have, at that length, medical supervision, and I have. So I suppose what surprised me the most is that as humans, we're hardwired to want to add things, to do more, to fix problems. And sometimes the easiest way to solve problems is to take things away and stop doing things.
If you like what you just saw, follow us on social media and visit our website, CCTV-America.com.